Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Business and Decisions Top Line series. Good morning. I am Jim Marzola. I oversee the Customer Relationship Management and Customer Experience Management service line for B&D North America, as well as oversee our marketing and strategic alliances. This morning's top line presentation is going to cover opportunities on looking at how to transform your customer interactions into customer intelligence. This presentation is being recorded, and you'll have the opportunity to listen to it again, as well as have access to it through our Bright Talk community. So with that, let's move forward in our conversation this morning. So you'll notice that the first slide that I present is built around an understanding of customer experience. I titled this slide as the customer experience is the new competitive advantage. The reason I say that is for a number of reasons. You'll notice that of a poll that was done for 2013, and now that we're towards the end of it, I'm convinced that this will continue to be the way that CEOs and chief financial officers see what's important to them going into 2014 is the third one, customer experience management, because we found over the last number of years that more and more organizations are becoming extremely sensitive to the way that their organization is being perceived and understood, especially in light of what's available through social media contacts, tweets and the like, blogs that are available out there. And so no longer is the information that a client receives from frontline sales reps that may have been that way before, but today more and more organizations are having information shared about them, and all the way down to not just the telephone call that they make to the organization, but even down to the invoicing or the billing process, all creates the way that an organization is perceived as providing a positive customer experience. So over the next 2-3 years, with the explosion of big data, as more and more unstructured data is made available about what's happening in the marketplace, along with increased information that's in the standard data or little data that is available to organizations, those that embrace and understand the customer experience are going to do extremely well over the next number of years, and those that are going to find themselves behind the curve in appreciating and understanding what the value of customer experience is are going to find themselves dropping in the way that their profits are seen in the marketplace. What I want to do now is actually ask a couple questions before we go on. So the first one is going to be around our own personal experiences in regard to customer experience. So the first one is, have you stopped using a product or service in the last 24 months because of a poor experience? So if you don't mind, take a moment here, vote if you would on that, and then what I'll do is I will share the results, and we'll do one more vote after that and continue on with our presentation. I see the votes are coming in. Okay, we'll just wait another moment. Okay, so with that, we will conclude our voting, and we'll show the results. So almost unanimous. You'll see out of the people responding, 90% said that they have, in the last 24 months, moved away. So let's go to the next question. And would you pay 10 to 15% more if you could have a good customer experience? In other words, if you were out to spend $10, and would you spend 11 or $11.50 for almost, I would say a guarantee, but just, you know, to know that you're going to get a good experience. In other words, $100, would you spend $110 to pay for knowing that you're going to have a good customer experience? So we've got the votes coming in. We'll wait another moment here. Okay, so we will close that out and look at the results. 88% said that yes, they would. So let's continue on and just remember those statistics if you don't mind. It looks like it just bumped up to 89%. So amazing. In regard to the quality of our customer experience, in other words, as we are a business, how we handle a customer experience does equal or relate to the success we're going to have in the marketplace. You'll see here that 68 to 89%, the number jumped in a 5-year period, just like all of us have said, that we have stopped doing business with an organization because of a poor negative customer experience. Our poll had it at 89%, but we're showing here that 86% of people agreed that they would pay more for a better customer experience. So that translation, if you knew that you could add an additional 10% of revenue, maybe even 15% of revenue, people will pay for that. And so as we go forward in this conversation, this presentation, think about that as you're modeling how you're going to engage with your customers over the next 2 to 3 years, because there is value that your clients will invest for that capability. So the other thing to be mindful of over the next 12 months is once again, what are businesses looking at as their top business priorities? And you'll notice at the bottom, the largest area is addressing customer expectations, what we just talked about, improving customer satisfaction, and the last one, acquiring and retaining customers. Now you'll notice sandwiched in between there is grow overall company revenue. It's fairly safe to say that if we're acquiring new customers and retaining customers, chances are the growth is going to take care of itself. Reality is that we need to continue to address the customer expectations, improve customer satisfaction, and now it's a matter of what are we doing? How are our systems aligned to be able to address those major and top priorities that we're finding in the marketplace? So something that we are all involved with is the agents or the reps that we have that are going to be involved in the interactions with our prospects and our customers. And so part of the key is to create a trusting interaction between any of our contact centers, our call centers, our frontline sales agents, and the customers. It's an absolute agreement, I think, across the board that, you know, more of a positive customer experience through a clear discussion and conversation with the agent is going to create not only happy customers, but the key is to be able to do this in just one call. You know, the object is when you and I call into a contact center or a call center, we have certain expectations, and the expectation then from the business is with that one call, we're going to either be able to tip the scales in a positive engagement, or it's going to move in a direction that is not so positive, and it's going to tarnish our reputation, tarnish the experience that our customer or prospect is having with our organization. So what's happening today? I don't think that what's happening today is different than what all of us are experiencing, because the first challenge that we come across is you and me, all of us as end user customers. From our perspective as an end user customer, we're more prepared than ever. And the frustration comes is our interaction with a contact or call center and not being able to get the answers that we want quickly. Maybe we've got to call back multiple times. But why is that the case? Generally, the reason for that is the fact that we're so well connected. We have the ability to get information through social media contacts, through our smartphones, whatever web technology we have. And so the issue is that as a engaged customer and a better informed customer, really what we're doing is we are putting the agent in almost a disadvantaged position, and from that standpoint, our knowledge is creating frustration on our end because we have such a high expectation and almost an immediacy of that frontline agent to have access to the information, to know, hey, I've been doing business with your company for 6 months, a year, 6 years. Why don't you have this information in front of you to be able to answer my questions? So all of us have that sense of what we've experienced from calling into contact centers. Secondly, is really the agents. From an agent standpoint, we hire our agents and our reps because really, when it comes down to it, their drive and their goal is customer satisfaction. They want to solve and answer questions really on the first call. They want to be able to use the tools that are set before them, and the challenge for them is, as they're interacting with these well-informed consumers, how do they find the data in a quick, short, fast, immediate time frame that's going to allow them to move from a contact and a customer and move to a customer engagement, and not just an interaction on that basis. To move it a step further, you have our frontline sales reps. So maybe you have a contact center. Some of it's focused on service and support. Another one might be in regard to frontline selling, and this could be at the store level. This could even be over the telephone. But the key is, once again, is these frontline reps are still looking for information, past history information, ways that they can better serve the customer that's on the phone, because again, if there's an opportunity to upsell and cross-sell, how do we know what information's been sent to them in a multi-channel environment? Did they get any coupons in the mail? Are they on an email distribution list? Are they part of a consortium, a buying consortium? So there's more pressure also on the frontline sales rep that may end up resulting in lost opportunities. And then finally, besides the anxiety and the performance pressure that is put on the call center agents for first call resolution, there's the entire call center management, where they're responsible for, again, establishing the criteria, the mechanisms, the training to be able to engage the staff so that they're in a spot where they're able to deliver the right performance through the agents, and managing that call center is another great challenge. Now, what does this really turn into? The consequences that are associated with that, really, we'll focus on three of them right now. The first one is really around the call center agent or the contact center agent. Because of the pressure that is on them to perform, they have questions coming at them, complex questions, looking for information, needing to be as accurate as possible, because there's a need, we have to have integrity, right? On the phone, in our conversations, there is no room for being misled. And so what happens is within the first 90 days of a call center, contact center agent coming on board is really training, right? Understanding the systems, where do they get the information, having the conversations. So within the first 30, 60, 90 days, it's getting them up to speed to become competent. Now the question is, what happens over the next 8 to 10 to 12 months is that pressure area of performance. And more times than not, the turnover rate goes up in about 10 months because of this sense of not being able to perform properly. Also, in the sense of finding information to be able to have a first call resolution. Right now, we've all agreed that in an environment, if we really want to have a first call resolution, it's a must-have to continue to drive as much as possible to that positive customer experience. And the antithesis of that is reduce or avoid customer dissatisfaction, which is completely the opposite of elevating and having a positive customer experience. And then really the last area is how to get, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, access to all this information. Where is the information sitting to allow your agents, your reps, to be able to get to the information that they require to elevate the customer experience and be able really to do a first call resolution. So I'm going to ask one more question. Well, actually, I think there might be a couple more, but the next question is really, again, the idea is to think about your business and your reps, your agents, and how many data sources today do they have to get access to really fulfill and solve a problem? In other words, even if they have to find somebody, maybe that system is not or that data is not in a system, it's in somebody's head. That still is their responsibility to go find them. So I'm going to ask you to vote on this particular question, and let's see what our responses are. Okay, we see the votes are coming in. Okay, we'll wait another moment or two here. Okay, we'll look at our results. And let's view them. So we see here that maybe the first one was a red herring, because that would be wonderful if we had people that really had a streamlined system. The challenge here is more than 3 systems that we're needing to get to. When you have 3, or in this case more than 3, the amount of time that it's taking, the frustration, that's what we're focusing on here, is how to get access to that information. So let's talk about what's available, where this information is residing, and it'll probably seem pretty straightforward for you. So the first thing that I want to talk about is where is all this information residing? For the most part, most organizations have some kind of a CRM system, a software system that gives them access to structured and formal information. We would call that really a narrow street light, or a lamp that has focused information upon them to get access to that information. But along with that is the opportunity to realize that, as everybody shared, is there's information in so many other systems inside your organization. So the second one is really looking at what we would call underused and not linked information. It could be that you have 2 or 3 quote-unquote CRM systems. You could have Excel spreadsheets. You could have other databases. Your company may have gone through a merger and an acquisition, and so there's legacy data sitting in other systems. So how do you get at that information? The next one is in the text mining area, where you have information, let's say marketing. We talked a little bit earlier about multi-channel. What's the marketing department doing in sending information out? What about technical information updates that may go out to your client? What about emails? What about if you're a publicly traded company and it would be corporate communications and comments? Where does that information fit in to being able to answer a question or solve a problem for your frontline agents? And then, of course, the last one is really in the web side. Again, in this understanding or this concept of big data is all of this unstructured data that is being made available over the web through blogs, through Twitter feeds, through other communities, forums, possibly even wiki sites where people are putting information on. So available to the organization is this access to all of this information that now really can create a much larger, broader view or lamp to get access to this information. So now that you have access to all of this information, how do you bring that together and present that to the frontline reps? So think about this from an example that is shown here around text mining. So you have one of your agents, one of your reps, and they have a system in front of them, whereas they're in this opportunity of retention or cancellation. They type in a phrase, cancel my membership, or I'm unhappy, or disappointed with my service. And just by typing into the search area, all of a sudden your screen displays information about that particular individual, or possibly offers that can be used. In other words, maybe it's a coupon or promotion that has been sent to them that they may not have recalled getting in their email. Or we, in this time of the year, are getting tremendous amount of offers through the paper mail. Again, this multi-channel concept. And so now the rep would have in front of them opportunities to leverage and possibly reverse that customer's decision. Maybe it's demographic information. Maybe it's a map that's pulled up with others that are in the neighborhood, others that are using your service that have a similar profile to the customer that you're talking to, and being able to use that information and to solve the problem, resolve the issue by having that. And again, all of this available by just typing in some keywords and being able to bring that information up. But the key is being able to have access quickly to that information in sub-second speed, so that once again the agent can have an engaging conversation with the customer. So the idea around this total engagement solution is really built around the understanding that our customers, our prospects, are having access to a tremendous amount of information that possibly our frontline reps are not having access to at that particular moment. And the key that I think is important to remember is the multi-channel functionality. Because now if you have these systems interconnected, then you're understanding, the reps are understanding how the communication is being dealt with the customer on the other end of the phone. And so with that, you have a way that the agent can get access to all of this information, and even if it's tied in or you want to tie it into a computer telephony integration, in other words, if a customer's information, the telephone number, keying in somebody's name, all of that automatically pops up the information on the screen. It once again engages with the customer and allows them to have a better trusted interaction with the prospect. The key is disengaging the agent from having to be frustrated with, where do I find this information? How do I get to this information? And allowing the focus to the agent to focus on the caller, and again, not having to try to remember and think about, where is this information that I've got to go to get at that information to solve this customer's problem. So in the sense of what a possible screen layout is going to look like, is the ability to, as you'll notice on the left side, a screen that brings together all of the historical information of the interactions that are made available to the agent. So it could be the invoices. When were the invoices sent out? When did somebody maybe buy something on the e-commerce site? When was an email sent out? Was there a phone call or an interaction with the customer support desk? Was there a marketing promotion sent out to that individual? So on the screen, you're able to see really the historical context of the interactions, right? The engagements, and now it allows the rep to be able to have a better conversation with the customer. What if on the right side you'll see the demographic layout? So organizations or people or businesses that have a similar profile or have purchased the same product, what if that information popped up on the screen and you were able to drill down and be able to allow the agents to have access to information quickly that can say, well, you're not the only one that has purchased this item, Mr. or Mrs. Actually, we have a tremendous number of people in your area that have adopted this, and here's the results that we've found with their use of the product or service. So it allows you to improve your business based on these customer interactions. Also, what if you had a way of being able to, when you're in conversation with that individual, where the agent is now forearmed with what we might call a heads-up display. So at the middle, Mimi Patterson, we quickly see that is connected to so many other organizations or so many other pieces of information, could be related to husband, wife, child, contracts, marketing information, and in a quick visual, you're able to see and drill down into that interaction, and so it allows, once again, the agent to have a better conversation, and the customer on the other end, quite frankly, is blown away because they have that good information, and the customer isn't having to reiterate over and over again their interaction and dealings and relationship with your business. So last question is today, are you using some kind of a CRM system to gather and capture your information? So that'll be our final question of the day, and we'll let you vote on that one, and we'll tally that up and present that information. And again, all of this is going to be available online, recorded, that you'll have access to it again to be able to preview and review this information, as well as the voting information as well. All right, so we're going to check our results. And so right now, predominantly again of the people that are participating are using some kind of a CRM system to capture that, which coincides back with the tally earlier that we have a system, but chances are we really need access to 3 or more systems to truly upsell, cross-sell, answer questions, solve problems for our customers. So if you have a CRM system, one of the things that we look at is avoiding, if necessary, really the rip and replace. So concept of technology. So what if you had a system that was able to rise above and give access to all of that structured information in your CRM system, but then link together your social networks, business intelligence information, as well as these other big data or unstructured data information. That way, again, you're not losing the investment and the information that you have in your CRM systems, but you're aggregating that and allowing the agents and your reps to have a much better interactive conversation. So one concept is allowing it to layer above. Another concept is being able to allow the information to reside directly inside. Now, it's shown here, PeopleSoft, Oracle, it could be Salesforce, it could be Microsoft Dynamics CRM, it could be SalesLogix. The CRM system, really what this is attempting to demonstrate is taking the same capabilities and embedding it within inside your existing CRM system. So again, the idea is to think about your practice, your process, and what's best for your business, and trying to determine the right next steps on that. We had talked earlier about customer acquisition and retention, right, was one of the top business priorities. And so what I attempted to do here was just show 3 areas of an organization that really, in the sense of bringing these systems together, how they were able to improve their business. So on the left side, campaign efficiency. Remember we talked about the multi-channel. Having access to what marketing is doing, what promotions are going out, allows you and your organization, your team, to do better upsell and cross-sell. Along with that is productivity. If you have that information, you're going to be able to, again, engage better with them, and your close ratio is going to go up. So productivity is going to increase. Same thing with call center performance time. If all of this information is there, what do we want? We want first call resolution. So if you can increase even 10% or decrease the call length by 10%, remember how we all said that we would even pay an additional 10% if we could engage or ensure or have confidence that we would have a better customer experience? Here's a way that we've just increased that for our organization, not only on higher revenue, but also lower costs. And then working conditions. What if you were able to bring together a system that made it attractive for the agents to be able to interact with and be able to gather that information and turn their training time into interacting with one system, and instead of having to continually be mindful, oh, who do I have to go to get this information? Or, oh, what system was that? What's my login? What's the alt control to flip between 3, 4, 5 different screens to be able to find that information? If they're able to just key in through a search bar with natural language, semantic, in context questions or information, and have that to be brought up, how much faster could they get information, get trained up, and become effective inside your organization? And so with trying to create an ROI, we've seen engagements where organizations in absolutely less than 1 year, in some 3, some 6, to have a quality return on investment for their organization. So as we wind down, think about where your interactions are happening. Absolutely, big data is here. The access to the unstructured data is necessary. And how do we bring that into our organization in an effective way? Secondly, now that we have all this information, and it's in all of these particular areas, how do we get that access in a fast sub-second response time? And thirdly is relevancy, right? Being able to have access to the right information at the right time in the right way to be able to have that better customer engagement with the customer and prospect. So in closing, if you haven't done this, or you're looking for some things that can start to move you in the new direction with the new year coming, I've mapped out seven steps here to think about in moving towards customer intelligence. The first thing, and it sounds like you're already thinking about that, is which systems do you really have to get information out of to create 100% accuracy in answering a question, placing an order, and the like, so that it's all within that one call. And then diagram that out. Sometimes we think about what those systems are, but truly workflow and diagram on a piece of paper, whiteboard, PowerPoint, and you'll be amazed at how many steps are along that workflow that have to get touched. That's gonna all of a sudden bring to mind what you need to do and where improvement can begin. The next one is if you haven't done this, define your goals on measuring your most valuable customers. What makes a valuable customer to you? Is it purely revenue? Is it profit? Is it the number of touches that your reps are having? And then divide that out by the problems, by problems in billing. It could, whatever that measurement is, start to identify what those valuable customers are to you, and then measure them, right? The next step is to measure which customers are occupying that most valuable space within inside your business. And then really from that, which of these customers are contacting you the most and for what information? Because once you start to understand why they're contacting you, how they're contacting you, and what they're looking for, you can start to see patterns that are around that. And you're now able to better segment these customers so that your best customers, your better customers, you want to be able to give them special offers, take care of them. If we're all in agreement that we would be willing to spend another 10 or 15% more for a quality customer experience, then we know that, there's ways that we can increase our rates in one way or another to make sure that we're really taking care of our best customers. And then finally, review, right? As you're going through this, I like to do things on a 90-day basis. Based on the velocity of your business, it could be 30 days. But generally, pick a time where it gives you enough data on which to start to spot patterns and be able to make adjustments. So review and refine after some determinate amount of time. I chose 90 days here. So with that, in closing, just wanted to once again thank you for your participation in our Top Line series, and we'll now open up the lines, if you want to call it, for any questions. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in, and I'll be able to answer accordingly. Okay, well here's one that's come in right away. So the first one is you talk about a system. Is this system that interacts with the CRM and that cloud-based? And the answer is yes, it's cloud-based. where it can be hosted outside of your environment and set up that way, so you don't have to worry about buying hardware and software servers and the like. At the same time, it can also sit within inside your own organization's data center if you so desire. Here's the second question that we have. You mentioned working with a CRM system. We have Salesforce.com. How can I run this with Salesforce.com, or can I replace Salesforce.com with this? Well, the answer is yes. As you saw earlier, there is a way to interact where it can rise above and sit above Salesforce.com, or it can operate within inside the framework of Salesforce.com. Now, can you replace Salesforce.com? That's a hard question to answer at this point in time, only because we would have to identify why and how and what you're using Salesforce.com for. So without being able to know the use of Salesforce.com is going to be tough for us to be able to answer, can you replace your CRM on that basis? Another question we have here, is the data in my CRM system impacted or changed in any way? The answer is no. Your information within inside your CRM system stays exactly the same because we're pulling information from that system and presenting it now in a new window. Now, the caveat there is a way where if you want to be able to improve your data, right? So sometimes you might have duplicate entries, duplicate data within inside your CRM system or other systems for that matter. There is a way where the agent can quickly see if there is duplications or give a rating and be able to flag that data needs to be updated, and in turn that can be brought back and identified to have your data cleaned or corrected within inside the CRM system. So again, the simple answer is no, we're just extracting and taking information. The broader answer is it can be used as a mechanism to be able to clean up your data. Very good question. Thank you. Last question I have here is how does the integration work with other data sources? So from an integration perspective, there are about 320 already, if you want to call it, integration APIs connected up to be able to interact with various databases and systems. So you have the ability to determine what systems and even more importantly what data you want brought from those systems based on security, based on roles, so that only the information that might be relevant, pertinent, or necessary for the agent to see is going to be brought forward from those systems and presented into the information set for you. So with that, those are the questions that we have. Looks like we may have one more. Let me see here. What if I don't have a CRM system? How could I use such a customer engagement tool? Well, regardless of having a CRM system, chances are you already have data on your customers or your prospects that are being stored somewhere. Unfortunately, it could be in an Excel spreadsheet. More than likely, it's in your accounting system. You probably have contact information even as simple as is in Outlook folders. So because you have access to already information, the system will be able to populate and take and bring that information together and display it into what you might call fields, right, on the display screen. And so by having those fields already created or knowing what fields you want within inside the system, the information on your customers, your prospects from your other data sources would be populated and brought forward into the new system. So it's a good question. Even if you don't have a CRM system, you can take full advantage of pulling all this together in this OneCall opportunity. Okay. I think with that we will say thank you once again for your participation in B&D's Top Line series, and look forward to engaging with you again here very soon. Thank you.